Welcome to Gold Derby. I'm senior editor Denton Davidson here with Vance Walker, the 18-year-old winner of American Ninja Warrior, who became just the third ninja in 15 seasons to take home the $1 million prize for completing stage 4. Vance, what an incredible run. We saw the emotion, the tears. What was going through your head in that moment they handed you the trophy?
It was a lot. I had been training for that moment for so long, and to finally see all that hard work pay off and to see that I had finally lived out my dream and won the show was just the most amazing feeling ever.
And to be honest, it looked like you were just as happy to complete stage 3. I mean,
Mhm.
was that really your goal this year to get to stage 4? Because that looked like a victory in itself for you.
Yeah, my first season on American Ninja Warrior, I fell on the second to last obstacle of stage 3. So this was my redemption. It was the comeback and finally getting the farthest that I had ever gotten. And I had a lot of faith in my rope climbing abilities. So I knew kind of at that point that I had won it.
Diagnosed with cerebral palsy at 18 months old. Doctors thought you wouldn't walk. Certainly, you wouldn't be doing this. You wore braces as a kid. What led you to the Ninja Gym? How did this journey start for you?
Yeah, so 8 years ago, I saw it on TV, and I just thought this would be super cool to do. There was a guy actually doing a backflip off of one of the obstacles, and I literally saw that, and I was like, "This is what I want to do. This is the most cool thing I've ever seen." So me and one of my friends went to a summer camp at a ninja gym, and that was 8 years ago. We've both been doing it ever since.
And what complications does this still give you? I mean, does it still impede you in any way? Like, what special activities do you have to do to make sure that you're ready to compete each race?
Yeah, so I have spastic diplegia, which still affects me to this day. I have to do a lot of stretching and physical therapy to maintain where I am. I can't make it any better than it is, but everything I do is to prevent it from getting worse. And it already prevents me from ever being flexible, but I can keep it from getting tighter to the point where I struggle to walk. Because there's some days where if I'm standing up for too long and don't do my stretches, that by the end of the day, my legs are too tight to where they don't want to have any pressure put on them, or they start cramping and start really hurting by the end of the day. So I have to do a lot of stretching and physical therapy just to maintain where I am.
Wow. And you had to tackle Mount Midoriyama to win this $1 million, which is climbing a 75-foot rope to get to the top. And you have to do it in 30 seconds or less. 8 athletes attempted to do it this season, which is more than any season before. You weren't the only to finish. Daniel Gil had completed it, and he had that $1 million in front of him, and then you came and snatched it.
Yeah.
But then it was your turn, and you complete it. You beat him, but you still have to wait for two other competitors to go. Was that just the longest moments of your life? What was it like watching those two go?
Yeah, it was very scary because RJ and Caleb are two people that I've looked up to for a long time, and I trained with both of them for the season, and we've all trained rope together. We trained for Vegas, and I knew their abilities on the rope. I knew that they could come close, and knowing that I had a few mistakes and that it could have been done faster was definitely terrifying. And when RJ was on that rope climb, I was so nervous I was about to pass out. I remember Ethan Bartnicki was behind me, and I turned to him and I was like, "Be ready to catch me because I might pass out during this." I was just insanely nervous.
The rope is such a killer. How much do you have to train specifically just on rope climbing to complete that? Because there are so many that, you train on obstacles all the time, but rope climbing is a totally different beast.
Yeah, the rope climb is very hard. I've only actually trained an 80-foot rope climb, maybe 3 or 4 times before Vegas, but I've done a lot of like 20, 30-foot rope climbs, and I'm just naturally gifted at the explosive pull strength. Luckily, the only good part about having cerebral palsy is my muscles are super tight, so I'm very quick and powerful. So I might not have as much endurance as other people, but I have a lot of power. And so luckily you only have 30 seconds where you're on the rope, so I can do it very quickly. And I've just been always good at the rope climb.
And poor Daniel Gil. This was the second time he came so close. But
Yeah.
what a ninja legend he is. When you see ninjas like Daniel, Joe Moravsky, guys 10, 15, sometimes 20 years older than you, pushing through this sport, is it something you imagine doing for that long? Like what are your ultimate goals in Ninja Warrior?
Yeah, seeing Daniel almost 30, like get that close to winning the $1 million and achieving total victory was very weird to think about because I know how good I am right now. I know that I'm capable of doing it right now, but that shows that another 10 years down the line, I could still be doing this. So I've already won it once. I want to come back and stick around as long as I possibly can. And I'm not stopping until I know that it's out of the picture for me. So I'm gonna keep coming back as long as I can, hopefully into my 30s and hopefully win it multiple more times.
Well, your season two almost hit a snag on stage two. You fell off the course at the falling shelves, losing that race to your friend Ethan Bartnicki. Thankfully, you had gone far enough, fast enough to qualify for one of the runoff positions, which you were able to win to
Yes.
advance to stage three. How concerned were you for your season at that moment when you fell off?
Yeah, luckily we ran late enough on stage two that we knew what we would have to do to secure that runoff spot. And being as close to friends we were, we actually got to discuss before our run. We were like, okay, let's not rush too much. Let's make sure we both get to the last obstacle. And then if we both get there at a similar time, then we can try to send a link, try to do a stupid move to get ahead of the other person. So luckily when he won, he was able to make it through to stage three. And I had secured the first place runoff spot to be able to run again and have another chance of making it to stage three.
And speaking of stage two, it was a race this year, which is a different format. We got to see ninjas race this season. It was fun for the audience, and you're not new to
Yeah.
racing. This has been going on in junior ninja, which you dominated
Mm-hmm.
2 years when you were younger. But what did the athletes think in general this season about adding this racing component?
Yeah, the racing was terrifying. We've done races on Ninja Junior before, but it's never been on American Ninja Warrior. There's been power towers and races for the safety pass, but not anything with actual real stakes that could knock you out of the competition. And it was just absolutely terrifying. We saw the testers demo the course before us, and they had somebody race on stage two to demo it for us. And as we were watching them, it was just the most intense thing we had ever seen, and it absolutely terrified all of us.
Talk a little bit about the Ninja Warrior community of athletes, because when I see this on TV, it looks, as I said, like a community. Everyone looks so supportive of each other. Friendships and these bonds are made all over the country. This
Yeah.
sport is just expanding. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger. Athletes getting younger and more gifted. What is it like to be part of that community?
Yeah, it's very nice to be part of the ninja community. It's definitely the most supportive group of people that I've ever known. Like a lot of sports have people and teams that come together, but this isn't a team sport and we still come together as all of us against the course instead of just one person trying to do it by themselves. If one person achieves total victory, that's a victory for the entire community. And it's just super amazing to be part of a group so close. And we've grown up with each other doing this sport, and it's just nice to see all of us finally make it to that point together.
And how did you decide to sort of pick up your life and move to Florida and train at
Mm-hmm.
that facility with athletes like RJ Roman, Caleb Bergstrom? What made you want to pick up and go to that gym?
Yeah, so after last season, when I didn't hit a single buzzer, I knew that it was time to make a change and switch my environment, switch my training. And I picked up all my bags, moved down to Florida, and switched my gym. I started training with Caleb Bergstrom, RJ Roman, a lot of the ninjas down here. And I think switching my environment definitely helped me to win it all this season after coming back from such a devastating loss last time.
How hard is it to wait a whole year? I mean, it's like a lot of individual sports, like swimming or track and field, or a lot of things where you have to just wait for that world championship. You guys have to wait every year for this 20 seconds, 26 seconds you're climbing, you're training all year long.
Yeah.
What has that been like waiting to get back?
I think the hardest part about Ninja is that Vegas is only once a year. Like you can fall and be so close, and you have to train for a whole another year, dedicate your whole entire life for another year to have another chance. And you only have that once a year chance. It's like the Super Bowl. If you miss out, you have to wait until the next season, a whole year later, to get back there. And I think that's definitely the hardest part because you have to dedicate a whole another year of your life for another chance at it not working out. Like you can train for that whole entire year and still not get that $1 million prize. Only three people have ever been able to get there. And the fact that you can train that long for a whole entire year, train that hard and it not work out is a very hard decision to make. So I think that's definitely the hardest part since it's only once a year.
What's it like watching yourself back on TV? Were there because you were so emotional and in the moment at the time? Did you see things you're like, I don't even remember that happened, or what was it like just to sort of watch this journey back?
Yeah, I was so nervous during the actual time competing on the show and having everybody run after me on stage 4 that when I looked back and saw it, I didn't even remember most of it. There were a couple moments where I was like, forgot about that one. And it was so weird seeing it in reality because I've pictured being on this course and pictured winning for so long that it playing out and seeing it still doesn't even feel real. Like I remember crying when I finally saw that I won on TV, but it still doesn't feel like reality because it's so crazy.
And like all sports, as soon as you win the championship, you get about 24 hours to celebrate, and then it's on to the next. So you said you'd be back. We can expect to see you on season 16, correct?
Oh yeah, I'm coming back. I've had about a month since Vegas that I went all out and ate whatever I wanted, but the grind is starting back up and we're ready to go again.
Well, we certainly look forward to that. And congratulations again,
Thank
Vance Walker. They call you
Thank
Walker
you.
Texas Ninja. Congratulations on an inspiring, impressive win on season 15 of American Ninja Warrior. And thanks for chatting with Gold Derby today.
Thank you.